Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to change out a tie rod on the P1000. So let me show you what I'm talking about, and let's do a step-by-step installation on this. It's a really easy fix, something you can do on the trail with simple hand tools. So let me show you. So right down in here, if you can see, the tie rod is bent right here. So what we're gonna end up doing is taking this piece off. There's one nut up there. We'll take the ball joint out. So for those of you asking, all the tie rods are a weak point on this machine, and the simple answer is yes and no. So yes, the tie rods are usually the first thing to give out if you hit something really hard. I happened to hit the tire running the stock tires about 30 miles an hour on a rock I didn't see. I was following an X3 through the woods, got a little overzealous, and there we go. Mind you, I've had this tie rod bent for 6 to 8 months now. So you can bend the stock tie rods with stock wheels and tires pretty easy. The good thing is they bend, and it doesn't take out your steering box, it doesn't bend anything else up in that area. And the other good thing is they're 20 bucks. So you can replace them with heavy duty tie rods. I know a lot of guys run on portals do. That's fine and dandy, but this is an easy, quick fix. I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's even quicker if you got the right tools. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get the Pioneer jacked up, I'm gonna get the wheel off. That's not required, it just makes life easier when filming. So let's go ahead and get it checked out. Well, I've got the wheel and tire off. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about and what we're gonna do. So if you can see, this has got a slight bend. So it's a pretty easy procedure. Like I said, you can do this on the trail. Easiest way is to turn the wheels so you get this all the way out, your knuckles or whatever side bends. So we're gonna remove this clamp here. There's another clamp back there. Down here, we're gonna remove the cotter pin and this nut. Now, for those of you wondering, on the very back on the steering rack, there's a clamp. And I went ahead and I ordered the next one to show you. So, on here, when you push it forward, let's see if you can see in there, it's got a tab that goes into, there and there. So when you push it forward, you'll push down on the bottom. And it comes out. So when it goes, when you lock it in, you push it in all the way, and it'll go like that. Here's the part number. If you damage one, this is going to be for the outer side, and that's the inner side. Now, this is the part number for the tie rod. When you get your tie rod, it comes with a new spacer washer thing and your tie rod. There's your inner, and this will go to the outer. This is how you adjust your toe in and toe out. This is where that boot will clamp. So the easiest way to get this off is you can use a big crescent wrench. What I have is I have an 1.25 inch crow's foot, which will fit just barely on there, like that. So there's the part number 97740. I got it from Amazon for like $6, $7. But this is good to have in your toolkit, because once you break this loose, you can undo it by hand. So let's go ahead and get it installed. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is remove this cotter pin. I've already bent it flat. Now, some people will reuse these. I don't. I just toss them. You can buy a whole kit for $5 with hundreds of them, different sizes. So there's my new one. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take a 17mm socket to remove this. So one trick that people have to getting this joint out is they bang it up with a hammer, or they'll tap the side of this to get the outer tie rod out. I like to use a ball joint remover. Looks like this. Some people like to use a pickle fork. The problem with pickle fork, and this one's dirty mind you, is you could damage your seal right here. So this one's pretty easy. It just slides in. I think this is about $15. So next step is we're gonna pull this down. So right up there is that weird clamp, in the back I told you about. Up here is that joint I was talking about. There's your steering rack, here's this joint. Real simple, we're just gonna take our crow's foot to get it off. Once you break it loose, it just comes off. So you got new versus old. So right here is this lock washer that goes in there. The slide on the new one. So now what you want to do is you want to count your threads so you know exactly where to put the new one on. It'll get you pretty close, if not perfect, before you can recheck your toe. So there's the difference in the bend that I had. New versus old. So now reassembly is completely backwards. You're going to take your sleeve, you're going to put that on first, then your clamp, then your nut. This is a 19 millimeter for those of you who are wondering. So if you're making a trail kit, this comes in handy. And then you put your outer tie rod on. So one thing to note is the inner tie rods are the same part, both right and left. The outer tie rods are side specific. You can see back here, there's a flat spot, and that is where that clamp goes on the back. This is on here. Those fit in the grooves like that. If that makes sense. So reassembly is just reverse order. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put the inner tie rod on with our new washer with the tabs and the grooves. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get the clamps on. I'll put the outer tie rod on. I will torque that down, and per the instructions from the OEM manual, it says it needs to be torqued down to 48 foot-pounds. I'll put my new cotter pin in, and then we'll go ahead and check the toe. So let's get to that. That's how you change a bent tie rod on your Pioneer 1000. So I'll go ahead, I'll finish up, I'll put the tire back on, I'm gonna check the toe in and out just to make sure everything's good. This can be a very easy trail fix. No more than 15 minutes if you got the right tools. The hardest part of this whole install, other than setting the toe, which you should look at your old settings, is that inner clamp on the tie rod. I know people that fix them on the trail, they like just to use a zip tie so they can get back to the camp or through the weekend. I recommend always carrying an extra tie rod with you. Worst case scenario, you don't need it. Best case scenario, you got it and it's at the truck, you have somebody run back and get it. Let me know in the comments below what you do. Do you carry a spare tie rod? I mean, for $20, why not? You can buy aftermarket tie rods that are great, but they're $300. I can buy 15 of these for one set of aftermarket tie rods. I've got well over 1,000 miles on this machine with one slightly bent tie rod. It was my own fault. Just remember, running bigger tires and lifts is going to put more stress on your tie rods, so you should always carry at least one and the tools to change it and know how to change it. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.